Hey folks, Jim here, producer of Around the House Show. You're loving the audio tips right now, but here's something new. Our full-length episodes and expert interviews are now on YouTube as video, so you can watch the demos, tool close-ups, and guest interviews, or just hit play and listen like a regular podcast. Just search Around the House Show on YouTube, hit that red subscribe button, and turn on notifications. It's free, and you'll get the best of both worlds, visual how-tos when you want them, audio when you're on the go. Don't forget to subscribe on your podcast app too. Thanks. And now back to the show.
Everybody stop what you're doing, please!
When it comes to remodeling and renovating your home, there is no better show on your radio. This is Around the House with Eric G.
Where's the hammer?
From your back fence to the sidewalk, Eric will tell you how to keep it all in tip-top shape while helping you save a buck while doing it. If you like DIY projects, it takes a lot of practice to get good at it, and Eric is here to guide the way.
Is it on the, go up on the other floor. Somebody go up there and stop the hammering.
All that and more on the fastest 2 hours of home improvement radio.
These are the wrong plans. These are the old plans. Oh!
Welcome to
Stop it!
Around the House with Eric G.
Welcome to Around the House with Eric G. This is where we talk home improvement every single weekend. This is our Pro Insider Special. This is for all you out there in the construction trades, all of you out there doing stuff with anything residential. I don't care if you're a designer, if you're working in a tile store, if you're out there framing a house, or if you're a roofer, this show is for you. Thanks for joining us. Well, we've got an interesting one today. I wanted to talk a little bit about planning for your business for 2021. It's December, it's Thursday, it's the 3rd. You know, there's so much going on out there. And, like this morning I'm up a little bit early because I've got super stoked today. I've got Portland Marble Works. He's doing the countertops in my kitchen. They're doing my bathroom stuff. We've got countertop install today, so I've got some excitement going on around here. So stay tuned on Facebook for that. We're putting in my Endura Corian Endura porcelain countertops today, so I'm super stoked about that. Get the kitchen wrapped up, and then I've got my buddy William White coming over tomorrow to start jamming on Backsplash, and I'm super excited to be working with him. He's over at Ardex. He is somebody I grew up with, so this is one of those things that, when we were 10 years old, we were hanging out. So this is one of those things I'm super excited about, and we're going to have a good time working together. First time actually doing a project with him that we weren't little kids, so I'm kind of stoked about that. We reconnected a few years ago, so I love it when that stuff happens organically. So I wanted to talk a little bit today about prepping for 2021, and I've talked about it in the past, but we're starting to get a little bit more clarity out there. And I just wanted to make sure that you're ready, because right now, for many people, we are jammed. Everybody's booked out months. Everybody is rocking and rolling. Most people are booked out. There's shortages of materials, that kind of stuff. And I just want to say to everybody in my 30 years in this industry that this is where you've got to be a little careful. And we're not talking politics here. I don't want to be Debbie Downer, but I just want to make sure that before you go out and buy that new boat, make sure you got your bases covered, because this always seems to be the setup for the recession. We've got an administration changing hands. Here's what I predict for 2021 that we just need to be careful with. Lumber prices are going down on a wholesale level. Are they down all the way? Oh, heck no. I use my local Home Depot, to be honest, or I can jump online and see where we're at. A couple months ago, we were at $25 a sheet for 7/16 OSB, and we're down to 22. We're down from $6 for a 2x4 8 to $5 a 2x4 8. It's going down. it's not $9 a sheet for OSB. It's not $2 for a 2x4 or $3 for a 2x4. So these are things that I'm kind of just keeping an eye on and watching to see how things move down. Now, I think they will. The people are going to be not taking on those outdoor projects, weather changes in the northern part of the U.S., where it's a little less likely to be doing stuff. But we're just going to have to see what happens with that. I know the National Association of Home Builders is fighting to lower tariffs, and tariffs were raised between the U.S. and Canada. Were lowered between U.S. and Canada. But I'll be honest, the tariffs isn't our problem. There's a little bit of money in that, but Canada is suffering the same lumber building materials shortage we are. They have shortages of framing lumber up there too. So getting more supply out of Canada is not a realistic option right now because they can't even supply their own lumber. They're sure not going to send it down to the States here if they can't fill the local stuff because they're going to take care of the local guys first. That's how this stuff works. So I think that's what you're going to see is you're going to see that gradually going down over the next 4 months, over the next 4 months. And hopefully by spring, we'll get going with that. But I also see with in the news that there is some pretty big claims of tackling more green energy stuff out there, which means, one of the things that's been nice over the last 4 years, and again, we're not talking politics here, but one of the things that's been nice for businesses is our gas prices have been really stable and really low. Now, I think if we see things change here and the economic policies are different, we're going to probably see gas going up another $1 or $2 because they want to discourage people from driving around. Well, the problem is everybody out there with their fleet vehicles, with their vans, doing HVAC work, plumbing, electrical, all that stuff, that comes off the bottom line and it costs people more because you've got to charge more for it. So I see gas prices popping back up again, a couple bucks a gallon maybe in the next couple of years, probably $1 next year. And so these things I think are going to keep going that way. So I want to make sure that we're prepared for 2021 to see some businesses have to shrink up a little bit as far as that. I think we've also got some stuff that we haven't paid the piper on yet either. We're going to have some multifamily issues out there when I'm talking about, we've had this moratorium, and we're going to talk about this on the show this weekend. There's a lot of renters out there that haven't been able to pay, and they've been in a bad spot, no question. But the problem is that the landlords have also not been able to pay, many of them, because they weren't getting income, and they didn't have a year's worth of mortgages saved up in case that ever happened. So now you're seeing this stacking effect of rents not being paid, mortgages are not getting paid on these rentals. Now, I don't know if that's going to go dump into the system where people go, I can't make this, I got to sell it. If that's going to happen or what, but I think that still has to play out, and that could affect housing prices, that could affect a lot of different things, as well as we still are seeing people slowly moving out of the apartments and condos and moving out into suburbia, especially when they're working from home. So if you're in the remodeling business right now, I would give you a couple pieces of advice. If you're a kitchen and bath remodeler, if you're a deck builder, if you're any one of those things, I would make sure in your marketing for 2021, you are pivoting to make sure that you are communicating that you create quiet office spaces for people at home. I would make sure that you talk a little bit about creating outdoor living for summertime, making that house a little bit bigger so you can separate people out. So when the kids need their Zoom meetings and two parents are out there having to do their meetings as well, that people have quiet times, I would make sure you're covering that because that's not going away. Even if in the next 6 months we knock out getting everybody vaccinated and COVID is a word we never talk about again, there's still a lot of businesses out there going, I'm not paying for your office space. You work from home. Why should we do that? So I think we'll see a shift from that as well, as I think you're going to see now empty office buildings downtown. I think you're going to see some of that, which could turn into converting those into, condominiums and things like that, or apartments, or even low-income housing. So I think there's a lot of different things that are going to shake out over the next few years. We're just on the beginning of that, and then we're going to have to see what happens with the restaurants and stuff out there as well. But I think we're going to have some big shifts on how this all comes back together. I just want to make sure everybody in our lumber building material design community out there is well prepared and is putting stuff away to make sure that they've got 2021 covered. Just in case, June, July comes around and things hit the brakes a little bit. I want to make sure that we're covered on that for everybody out there, because that's the one thing with this industry. There is an ebb and flow to it, and it is either boom or bust. And if you can manage through those times, you're going to be much better off. And those are things that I just want everybody to think about out there, especially coming into next year. Watch your taxes right now. Make sure that you're not paying the tax man more than you have to. Do your part, but make sure that you've got all those things covered. There's a lot of different little rules. I've heard some people out there that have done really well this year that are in a little bit of a panic this month, trying to figure out how to divert some of that income tax into multiple years. So just make sure you're good for all you out there that have done really well. And I think you're going to be really, really happy. A little bit of planning right now goes a long way. So in a nutshell, put some of that money away for 2021. Make sure that you're marketing. Make sure that you're doing all those things to keep your business alive for the next year. It's not going to be another 2020, but it could be a lot different, and there could be a lot of things that change. So just make sure that you're ready for that and that you're prepared to pivot as you need to. All right, everybody, tune into Around the House with Eric G this weekend. We've got a big show ahead. We've got a lot of different stuff going on. Renters and landlords on hour number 1 and number 2. We're going to talk about my top 10 things that we need to, I think, not have in the marketplace out there. Products that I think should be discontinued because they're not safe or anything else out there. All right, everybody, have a great rest of the week. Happy Thursday. Stay safe out there. Thanks for listening to Around the House.
Around the House with Eric G is produced by, designed by Eric G, in association with Salem Media, and distributed nationally by the Sun Broadcast Group. All rights reserved. Copyright 2020, designed by Eric G. We will be back next week. If you missed part of the show, check out the podcast of all of our shows at AroundTheHouseOnline.com. Remember, measure with a micrometer, mark with caulk, and cut with an axe. Thanks for listening to Around the House.
Hey guys, it's Eric G from Around the House, and I am thrilled to announce that our massive back catalog, nearly 1,900 episodes packed with home improvement tips, DIY hacks, and expert advice, is now available for free. Dive into years of inspiration to tackle on your next project. And just a heads up, some podcast players limit how far back you can go. So if you can't find it all, just head straight over to our website, AroundTheHouseOnline.com, and listen to every episode there. Don't miss out. Start binging today. And thanks for tuning in to Around the House.